Okay, moving right along. We have a one more quick update, and this is actually somewhat ICANN related. You'll see it's on an NRO slide deck, and again, it has my name there for some reason. I gave these slides at the ICANN meeting in Copenhagen, and it's an interesting project. The project is called the Internet Technology Health Indicators Project. It's a project that ICANN initiated as part of its strategic plan. It's attempting that, because there's a number of registries involved in the overall Internet identifier space, as part of their strategic plan, they want to be able to report on what's the health of all these registry systems. So ICANN put that in their strategic plan. It's in the office of the CTO. Elaine, are you hiding here somewhere? Oh, very good. He and David are working, Elaine and David are working on this project, which involves, of course, measuring all the various registries, like the registries that the protocol parameter community has, the DNS community, and the RIRs. This is an interesting situation because, well, our community is predominantly at RIR meetings, not at ICANN. And we did sit down and have that discussion, and we said, look, we'll try to do this jointly, but we're going to have to facilitate it because there's no way to do it at ICANN and have the input it needs, and it's very hard to do something in 10 RIR meetings and get a single answer. So to start the discussion, we had the registration services staff at the 5 RIRs put together an initial Internet unique identifier, Internet Technologies Health Indicators strategy, an initial set of metrics, and they're still doing that. They're literally, this is work in progress. And then what we're going to try to figure out is how to do a community consultation in 5 RIRs at once on these initial metrics to get feedback, because we want to have one set of metrics for the Internet Number Registry System, not 5. And then once we have that and we're sure all the RIR communities agree, then we want to bring it back into the ICANN process and say, this is what the numbers community is using for its metrics. The RIR CEOs, the NROEC, we met and talked about whether we do this at all. And it's not, ICANN does have some coordination and information mission that encompasses the entire space. And so we try to work with ICANN wherever it makes sense so that when someone comes to them and says, what's happening in the Internet Number Registry System, there's some basic information they can provide. And it felt like it was worthwhile to work with them on this, even though it's really about us, it's really about numbers. So, with that said, we've been working, the registry staff has been working on an initial draft this year. We're hoping to have a release of the discussion draft sometime in the next month or two. And then we have to figure out the process for consultation. When we did the IANA work, like the IANA stewardship planning, transition planning, we set up a single mailing list, and then we all set up mailing lists in our own region. Still to be discussed how we'll do this consultation. But to give you an idea, the metrics are supposed to span all the number resources. We're excluding the reserved ones, special purpose and future delegation, because that's more in the realm of the IETF. So what are we talking about? Well, you actually saw a preview earlier. Are the registry data, is it comprehensive, is it correct, and is it current? That's what the registration services managers have been trying to figure out useful definitions for, so we can actually come back and say, here's what we think the current measurement of the current number registry system is on these metrics. And we're not taking comment on this yet because this is going to become a draft document which is going to get sent out for comment for you guys to actually start looking at the measurement units and the exact measurement terms. And the goal is to try to have something that works among all 5 RIRs. That's not easy. We actually, things like, is a record accurate? You may have one RIR that says it's accurate if it points to a legal street address. Another RIR may say it points to a legal street address that actually matches a street address that has an organization which is using the resources. And so we have to try to come up with one set of metrics, and this is not going to be easy. Just some notes. There's questions about what do you do when there's multiple aspects to a metric. Like if something's correct, does it have to be 100% correct? Are some of these metrics partially correct? And how often do we measure these? What is the measurement period? These are the things the registration services managers working with each RIR are trying to figure out as to what could be a working starting place. But again, we gotta, when we're done, send this out to consultation and have you folks say, this is how I want the registry system measured or not. That's it. Sort of an interesting project that we're doing jointly with ICANN. Alan, come speak.
Well, Alain Durand from ICANN. First off, thank you. When we started this about a year ago, you said that we want to do this jointly, and you said that you guys will start this, and we are here now, and very happy about that, so thank you very much. I wanted to give you some context about why this is important. Well, somebody asked, I can manage or help coordinate, more than manage. Help coordinate is really the word, operational word. A set of identifier. Is this set of identifier healthy? And is it better this year than next or previous year? And how do we know that? Well, I could not really answer this question without having data. And this effort is all about providing some data to answer this question. Are we doing better this year than we were doing last year? This is really what this is about. So the actual value of whatever we're going to measure is fundamentally irrelevant. Is it 84.5 or 72 or 620? Doesn't matter. What matters is we can compare the value from this year from the value from a year ago or 2 years ago and look at the trend. And if we associate that number going down is good and we see the number going down, we're doing very well. If it's the opposite, then we may have an issue that needs more community input. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. And I'm very, very happy to see that this work happening in collaboration. And I'm here this week. I will be in the other IR meetings this year. So if you have questions about the overall project, talk to me. If you have questions about the IR aspect of it, talk to John. And thank you, John Sweeting, and your team for setting this up.
Thank you. Back microphone.
Kevin Bloomberg, The Wire, NRONC. Having valid data points is great, and I love this whole concept. In listening to you, John, there's actually one thing that I realize is actually an added benefit to all of this, which is being able to compare each of the RIRs against each other, not in a negative way, but to see who's doing things, as you said, street address versus organization at street address, and seeing how we can improve ourselves just by looking at one RIR might do things a little better in one area, another RIR might do things a little better in another area, and there's little tidbits that we can take.
Standing straighter and
Yeah, it's without having to, without all of us going to every RIR and trying to understand how they work. It allows us to self review and glean from that. So that's actually a really nice aspect of it.
I do think, well, ICANN's the one who sort of initiated this. These are our metrics. These are what we decide we want to do, and it's a useful thing for us to work with ICANN on projects that help make this a more understandable system to people who may not be entrenched, coming to these meetings. If we can have simple metrics that we can use for communication, that they can use for communication, that we agree on, that certainly helps us in describing how we're doing as a registry system.